Senator the Honourable Clarence Rambharat, Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Senator the Honourable Paula Gopee-Scoon, Minister of Trade and Industry, Ms. Jacqueline Rawlins, Chairman, and other directors of the Board of the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago, members of the National Organising Committee, our esteemed cocoa stakeholders, friends of the cocoa sector, welcome to the virtual launch of the second edition of the National Cocoa Awards competition. The National Cocoa Awards is the opportunity for cocoa farmers and fermenters to show off their cocoa expertise. The competition recognizes exceptional post-harvest quality in cocoa, allowing producers to earn cash prizes and access more lucrative markets. This edition of the National Cocoa Awards celebrates the know-how of producers in preserving the diverse flavors of our Trinitario bean and improving their quality to award-winning levels. What makes the competition really special is that winners of national awards can have their cocoa beans selected to represent Trinidad and Tobago at the Global Cocoa of Excellence program. This global competition determines which beans will be judged in the top 50 best of the world, with the possibility of winning a prestigious International Cocoa Award. Two of the winners at the 2019 National Cocoa Awards went on to win International Cocoa Awards. So we are excited to invite all farmers and fermenters to participate in this year's competition and see who may go on to win big for Trinidad and Tobago at the world stage. Today's launch event is a gathering of all the organizations working together to make the National Cocoa Awards possible and some teasers as to what to expect from this second edition. Everyone is delighted to speak words of encouragement to all of you who are entering this year's competition. Join me in welcoming Ms. Jacqueline Rawlins, Chairman of the Cocoa Development Company, the lead agency for the National Cocoa Awards.
Senator the Honourable Clarence Rambharat, Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. Senator the Honourable Paula Gopee-Scoon, Minister of Trade and Industry. Member organizations of the National Organising Committee, cocoa stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. I have heard it said that perfection is not attainable, but if we chase perfection, we catch excellence. As we launch the second edition of the National Cocoa Awards today, we want to remind all cocoa stakeholders and producers that excellence is within our reach. When we at the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago conceived the idea of having this type of competition, we recognized that the pursuit of excellence would be an overarching guiding principle for driving the industry forward. We believe that this National Cocoa Awards competition would be an effective mechanism to so do. We brought together a key group of collaborative agencies to make the competition a reality. This National Organising Committee is comprised of the Cocoa Research Section of the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, the Cocoa Research Center of the University of the West Indies, and Export TT. As we seek to motivate stakeholders to achieve excellence, the mission of the National Cocoa Awards is to empower and recognize cocoa farmers and producers to improve quality and production according to best practices, contributing to a globally recognized Trinidad and Tobago cocoa brand. The 2019 inaugural National Cocoa Awards was a resounding success. It inspired cocoa producers from estates, large and small, to strive to extremely high quality processing for a chance to win at the national level, and then to be selected to represent our country at the International Cocoa of Excellence program. 2 of the 5 samples submitted to that international competition went on to win prestigious international cocoa awards, giving us all an amazing sense of national pride and reminding us that we do indeed have the best cocoa in the world. Trinidad and Tobago is the current record holder for winning international cocoa awards. Since the inception of the Cocoa of Excellence program in 2009, Trinidad and Tobago has won an outstanding 8 international cocoa awards. When coupled with our other historical achievements, this clearly validates our superiority in the area of cocoa flavor diversity. This tremendous intrinsic flavor potential is a unique selling proposition from which to extract commercial value for the local industry. For this second edition of the National Cocoa Awards, we definitely want to continue the country's international winning streak, but we especially want to focus on the more tangible effects of the competition, both for the participants and the industry as a whole. The Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago sees the competition as a stimulus for the local industry development. We recognize that there are no shortcuts to true excellence, and as such, the company, CDC, has developed some critical aspects of the industry which can now be coordinated and leveraged to provide a quantum thrust forward for making local cocoa an attractive proposition. These include the structuring of 18 cluster communities of farmers in all of the cocoa growing areas of Trinidad and Tobago. The 800 plus farmers making up these clusters were functionally organized by the CDC and have been grounded in the business of cocoa bean production and trained in using best practices. These farmers are prepared to be engaged in market opportunities. We have also developed 40 microlot fermenters who are involved in producing highly differentiated, excellent quality, single origin microlot beans. Such beans satisfy the makers of high-value cocoa products. These microlot fermenters will complement the existing 6 central fermentary operators, allowing the country to better target the niche market segments where premium prices are commanded. During the COVID-19 stay-at-home period, CDC provided business opportunities for 24 of these microlot processors by setting up contractual arrangements for the conversion of 16 metric tons of wet beans to high-quality dry beans. This empowered the processors to hone their business skills and prove that they can produce excellent quality with every batch. We continue to provide technical support for farmers and even facilitate their acquisition of fermentation boxes built to industry standards so that they can implement what they have been exposed to. This has helped existing fermenters to expand the capacity of their operations and has allowed CDC to standardize the high-quality cocoa processing methods taught to farmers who want to access higher income streams from cocoa processing. CDC has also registered and has started using a certification mark of Trinidad and Tobago fine or flavor cocoa to certify all cocoa products of our country. Many of you would have noticed the presence of CDC's certification mark on the cocoa bitters product recently launched by Angostura. This mark formalizes our continuous mantra of excellent quality. The awareness and use of the certification mark, both locally and globally, is being pursued, since it gives full credence and recognition to the brand TT concept and will attract new markets. CDC has developed and begun the implementation of a total quality management system to support the certification mark. This allows for the inspection and verification of all processes and products from farm to processing facilities, and it will create a higher value proposition at farm and at processor level. The certification mark will also be extended to value-add operators as an important marketing tool. We are excited to contribute to the growth part of the local value-add industry, which is becoming a significant end user of high-quality cocoa beans. These 80-plus value-added processors and entrepreneurs have used as much as 54 metric tons of locally grown cocoa in 2019 for products such as cocoa nips, cocoa butter, cocoa powder, cocoa beverages, and as a critical ingredient for our own premium chocolate products. Once the quality profile is raised across the industry, a spillover effect is achieved to produce more cocoa, along with better marketability and prices for farmers and primary processors. CDC is presently building on strong market intelligence to complement these developments and to drive market-led production. All of the required training of stakeholders to participate in these initiatives will be facilitated by CDC. As we embark on the second edition of the National Cocoa Awards, another key initiative towards achieving excellence, we look forward to this competition serving as a tool to generate more revenue for the country and improve the livelihoods of our cocoa producers.
We will now have remarks from each of the other agencies of the National Organizing Committee.
Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, Senator the Honourable Clarence Rambharat. Minister of Trade and Industry, Senator the Honourable Paula Gopee-Scoon. Mrs. Jacqueline Rollins, Chairman of the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago. Chairman and members of the National Organizing Committee for the National Cocoa Awards. Cocoa stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Patu Maharan, Director of the Cocoa Research Center of the University of the West Indies. We at the Cocoa Research Center are extremely pleased to be associated with the second edition of the National Cocoa Awards, a precursor event that identifies the best cocoas for entry into the Cocoa of Excellence program. Cocoa from Trinidad and Tobago has won numerous international cocoa awards that have cemented our global quality reputation. At this time of the pandemic and global economic crisis, the cocoa sector provides a fountain of opportunities for economic diversification along the cocoa value chain. Building the cocoa value chain requires global reputation, market validation, which together can help to attract investment, both local and foreign, so that as a country, we can realize the potential of the cocoa industry. In our opinion, this event is a very important part of the calendar of events for the cocoa sector, one that aids in instilling pride to the cocoa producer and each and every stakeholder along the cocoa value chain. It urges each of the stakeholder to strive for excellence. CRC has and will always lend its hand to make this event a success. I would like to take this opportunity to wish each and every entrant to this contest the very best of wishes. Achieving excellence will open up doors for you and your families to create a bright future for yourselves. I thank you.
Senator the Honourable Paula Gopee-Scoon, Minister of Trade, Senator the Honourable Clarence Rambharat, Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. Mrs. Jackie Rollins, Chairman of the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, member organizations of the National Organizing Committee, cocoa stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good day. Export-TT is proud to be a member of the committee responsible for the National Cocoa Awards, as the competition's vision of developing professionalism among cocoa producers and the long-term sustainability of the cocoa supply chain is aligned to our mission to achieve export-led growth in the non-energy sector through building international competitiveness. Trinidad and Tobago has been exporting cocoa since the 1700s, and this, our first agricultural export crop, has been contributing to the country's socio-economic development over the last 200 years. The National Cocoa Awards stands not only as a celebration of the rich heritage and longevity in the global industry, but also as a testament to the passion, commitment, and resilience of our people, not just as producers of fine and flavored beans, but more importantly, as entrepreneurs who are willing and able to pivot and thrive in these uncertain times. Cocoa has been highlighted by the government as both a driver for economic diversification as well as a valuable foreign exchange earner, but its contribution to our country's food security should also be acknowledged. Cocoa is cultivated in a multi-crop environment with other income-earning fruits and vegetables that allow us to feed ourselves and reduce our food import bill. Despite the economic challenges of the current COVID-19 pandemic, issues related to climate change, and the general risks associated with agriculture, cocoa producers continue to persist, adapt, and thrive. They remain hopeful and expansive in their goals for themselves and their families as they attempt to marry passion with production to further the development of the industry. The National Cocoa Awards is a means of recognizing the efforts of these cocoa farmers who are seeking to improve their techniques and processes to acquire a higher level of competitiveness and take advantage of the international opportunities that success at the competition brings. The world-renowned beans of our namesake Trinitario hybrid are the bedrock of our local industry. Our beans continue to pave the way for the evolution of this sector from primary chocolate inputs to high-margin value-added cocoa products. This is an area where we at Export TT feel especially excited at having a hand in capacity building through our export readiness training initiatives for potential exporters and developing a multifaceted approach to global business of cocoa production spanning a wide range of commercialized downstream products. We play a significant role in facilitating trade by providing marketing information to cocoa bean producers and chocolate makers through our targeted business-to-business meetings at trade missions. We look forward to even higher numbers of producers taking part in this, our second edition of the National Cocoa Awards, and using the reputation of the cocoa beans as a springboard for exploring more entrepreneurial ventures beyond the bean.
Honourable Ministers, members of the National Organisation Committee, dear cocoa producers. My name is Brigitte Laliberté. I'm the coordinator of the International Cocoa of Excellence program, led by the Alliance of Biodiversity International and CIAT. We launched the 2021 edition recently, and we are delighted to be part of the launch of the second edition of the Trinidad and Tobago National Cocoa of Excellence Awards, celebrating the value of the Trinitario cocoa culture and diverse flavors. The Cocoa of Excellence program is the entry point for producers to participate in the International Cocoa Awards. By bringing together leading sensory evaluation experts, the chocolate industry, and the next generation of cocoa pioneers, the Cocoa of Excellence program rewards producers of the best cocoas in the world, recognizing quality and exceptional flavors, as well as the know-how of those who produce it. The International Cocoa Awards are jointly organized with Salon du Chocolat, and we would like to thank all of our many partners for their support and commitment to cocoa quality and diversity. All participating countries establish a national organization committee that oversees the participation of producers, ensuring that high-quality samples are selected and sent to the Cocoa of Excellence program, representing the diversity of the country. They often consist of representatives from producers, research and development, to quality control and exporters. The Cocoa of Excellence program encourages countries to also organize national competitions. These are very unique opportunities for broader participation of producers of high-quality cocoa and to celebrate the skill and know-how of these women and men who produce it. National competitions also lead to the selection of the best samples for submission to the Cocoa of Excellence program. We're grateful to the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago, leading the National Organization Committee, as well as other agency partners, such as the Cocoa Research Section of the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, the Cocoa Research Center of the University of the West Indies, and the National Export Facilitation Organization of Trinidad and Tobago. We congratulate Trinidad and Tobago for its performance in the Cocoa of Excellence program, with several producers selected in the Best 50 and many winners of international cocoa awards since the program was created over 10 years ago. Trinidad and Tobago is an inspiring model, and we are very proud to have built strong relationships with institutions promoting the production of cocoa towards improved livelihoods and profitability of producers and prosperity of the value chain. We wish the best of luck to all the producers of excellence in this national competition. We feel joy and proud for all of you today, and we look forward to celebrating the results with all of you. Thank you.
Let us now hear from the winners of the first ever National Cocoa Awards, Mr. Leroy Peters and Ms. Geeta Miraj Peters.
Good day, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. We are Geeta and Leroy Peters, winners of the first National Cocoa Awards held in Trinidad in the year 2019. It felt like yesterday. I remember when we went to Sapa and we were there just expecting 2 hours ceremony and then we'll return home. And as the night passed, we noticed that things were shaping up and we came into the first 5. But we thought, well, that was it. But when we heard that we emerged winners, wow, I felt like out of this world. It was really a good feeling. I was really surprised. I always knew we had excellent beans. I always knew from the taste of the products we made. So I thought our beans could give a good show. My family was elated. All my in-laws, they were happy because we really work hard at our cocoa estate and they were really there to support us, and we were really happy for everyone. I come from a cocoa family, my wife also from a cocoa producing family, so it felt good that our labor didn't go in vain. In my little village of Grand Riviere, people came to realize that cocoa production was really exciting and profitable. When they saw the products we made and heard where cocoa is being sold, it generated a new excitement around cocoa and the production of cocoa. A lot of people, young people, started to get involved in planting cocoa and wanted to know if they could plant cocoa within their crops, and I got the privilege to show them that yes, you could put your cocoa plants within your crops and they two can grow together and you can make money from both.
I am originally from Honourable, and when my family heard of the winning of the National Cocoa Award, they were very excited and happy for us. Also, our villagers in Honourable were also happy and they supported me by phone calls and meeting me. But one thing they learned is that when you work hard and you have the love for something, good things come out of it. Traveling to France was a wonderful experience. It made me see the world on a larger scale, and also there are many things we learn on our way. The night of the competition, we all dressed up and went to the show. When we reached there, we saw chocolate products from all over the world. It was once in a lifetime experience.
All I remember that night is hearing Leroy Peters of Trinidad and Tobago. I stood there and I realized they called my name, so I got up. I went up on the stage and only then it soaked in that our cocoa was now recognized on an international stage. In this community, there aren't much farmers. I am just one of the only farmers who do farming 24/7, and that made a great impact. As a matter of fact, people kept passing and waving and calling, and they would say, "Hey, that's the guy." So a lot of people didn't even know where work was on a cocoa estate. So people became aware of what a cocoa estate is all about, and they didn't know that cocoa had so much involved. Even children in the community wanted to know, well, what does it mean to process cocoa, or to ferment cocoa, or to taste it. They would just take the beans and suck it, but they didn't know it had a lot more behind it. And then it brought back memories of Grand Riviere years ago, when this place was had almost 300 acres of cocoa, and cocoa was shipped from right here in Grand Riviere. We want to thank the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago and their officers for being there with us to help us to learn whatever. I remember our officer, Mr. Matias Calante, came and said, whatever you want to learn, just tell me. And he always provided us with the tools and with the resources to teach us how to ferment. Especially I want to thank Mrs. Sarah Barrett for the work she did walking us through the process of learning how to ferment beans and to get the best flavors from the beans. I think they've had a lot to play in our bean stopping of becoming where it is today. I will advise the farmers who are presently involved in the new edition of the competition to always allow people to see how committed you are, because I know a lot of farmers are committed to cocoa production and making their products, but sometimes we don't allow it to be seen, allow people to see the type of commitment that has to go to produce anything in the cocoa industry, and then that adds value to your input, and it will also allow people to appreciate your product. So you must love your work first and show people that you love what you do, and your cocoa will also be loved because it will be the best in TNT, and maybe one day will be the best in the world.
My advice to farmers who enter in the competition is to think big and have a vision. Leroy and I had a vision, and winning the national and international cocoa award made us think even bigger and has a bigger vision. So love what you do, have a vision, think big. God bless.
It is my pleasure to introduce remarks from Senator the Honourable Paula Gopee-Scoon, Minister of Trade and Industry.
Senator the Honourable Clarence Rambharat, Minister of Agriculture, Lands and Fisheries, Mrs. Jacqueline Rollins, Chairman of the Cocoa Development Company, Professor Umar Haran, Director of the Cocoa Research Centre, Mr. Mark Jardine, Director of Export TT Limited, Mr. Leon Granger, CEO of the Cocoa Development Company and also Chairman of the National Organising Committee, member organisations of the National Organising Committee, cocoa stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, good day. I'm pleased to deliver remarks at the launch of the second edition of the National Cocoa Awards for Trinidad and Tobago, which is the precursor to Trinidad and Tobago's involvement in the International Cocoa Awards Cocoa Excellence Programme 2021 edition. The theme of this year's National Awards is celebrating the value of our Trinitario cocoa culture and diverse flavours is truly appropriate, as Trinidad and Tobago has managed to secure 8 wins at the International Cocoa Awards over the 2010 to 2019 period, the most wins as compared to any other participating country. This indeed attests to the fact that our Trinitario cocoa remains one of the world's premier grade cocoa beans and is highly regarded for its superior flavour profile. The Ministry of Trade and Industry, through Export TT, is elated to be a part of the National Cocoa Awards and fully supports the mission of the National Cocoa Awards Committee, which is geared towards empowering and recognizing cocoa farmers and producers to improve quality and production according to best practices, contributing to a globally recognized Trinidad and Tobago cocoa brand. Our cocoa beans, raw and roasted, are of premium value and have gained significant revenue and foreign exchange for Trinidad and Tobago. In 2018 and 2019, cocoa beans earned $9.7 million TT dollars and $8.2 million TT dollars respectively, while for the period January to August 2020, export of cocoa beans has earned $4.6 million TT dollars. Notably, the major export markets were Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, Japan, and the USA, which accounted for over 95% of our exported locally produced cocoa. Further analysis shows that the top 3 exporters exporting above $500,000 TT dollars annually in the agro-processing sector are cocoa farmers. This is truly gratifying, as it demonstrates that an international palette exists for a unique, fine flavour cocoa. When we look further up the value chain, the statistics are even more promising, as it reveals that the export of chocolate and other cocoa preparations increased by 99% from 2010 to 2019. One manufacturer within this bracket exported to over 20 countries across the globe. Trinidad and Tobago's cocoa and chocolate industry has already embraced the opportunity of using the Trinitario reputation, as over 40 established crafters, some already boasting of obtaining international awards for their artisanal chocolate, are dominating international markets. Some examples include the Tobago Estate Chocolate, which won a silver award at the International Chocolate Awards in 2019 for its dark milk chocolate. Also, Trinidad and Tobago Fine Cocoa Company, which was featured as part of Harrods' special collection of international chocolates in 2017, and is the recipient of 5 Academy of Chocolate Awards. More recently, I had the opportunity to deliver remarks at the launch of Angostura's Cocoa Bitters, and this new product also diversifies the current portfolio of beverages manufactured by the company and plays a pivotal role in promoting and developing the cocoa industry in Trinidad and Tobago, as the infusion of the Trinitario cocoa has resulted in an accelerating blend. Cocoa is of considerable economic importance as it generates export revenues, creates sustainable employment, and facilitates the growth of new industry. And according to a study undertaken by UNCTAD in 2016 entitled Cocoa Industry, Integrating Small Farmers into the Global Value Chain, the value added along each step is greatest at the stages of manufacturing, 35.2%, and retailing, 42.2%. The government of Trinidad and Tobago has recognized the growth potential of the cocoa industry to assist in diversifying the economy and is committed to supporting its expansion. And according to our Trade Policy 2019-2023, agriculture and agro-processing industries, specifically cocoa, have been identified as having significant untapped potential for diversification. To aid in government's continued efforts to support and promote agribusiness and entrepreneurial development within the cocoa industry, a $90 million agriculture, processing and light industrial park was officially opened in Moruga on July 14, 2020. And this park is strategically located in southern Trinidad, where cocoa processing and chocolate production have been identified as specifically targeted industries to be established at the park, with pre-designed facilities constructed. I also wish to take the opportunity to briefly highlight some of the other key initiatives that the Ministry of Trade and Industry has implemented aimed at growing the sector. Firstly, in order to build the competitiveness of cocoa in the international market, the Ministry of Trade and Industry presented 2 new cocoa standards to the University of the West Indies, which were developed by the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards in collaboration with key stakeholders. The standards, which were initiated by the Cocoa Research Center, will positively impact the quality parameters of locally produced cocoa, enhance its competitiveness, and improve access to international markets. Secondly, provision has been made to assist exporters with meeting export standards through a cocoa financing support facility at Export TT. This facility has rendered assistance to chocolatiers in several capacity building areas, including HACCP and FISMA certification, upgrading of cocoa production facilities, acquisition of geographic indication to protect intellectual property, organic certification for plantations, feasibility research into new products and distribution channels, and good manufacturing practice, food safety compliance and implementation. Another complementary resource is the Grant Fund Facility, which was launched by the Ministry of Trade and Industry in August 2019. This initiative affords wholly owned local companies in light and high-value manufacturing and agro-processing an invaluable opportunity to invest in cutting-edge technology, machinery and equipment to expand output, increase exports, and grow competitiveness. Of the 13 companies that have already received grants under the GFF, 1 company received funding for the acquisition of machinery and equipment to manufacture the Trinitario cocoa bean into a range of cocoa and chocolate products. Also, a revised research and development fund facility was launched in November 2017, and this provides tiered funding for innovative, technology-driven business ideas up to a maximum of $1 million per beneficiary, of which one successful cocoa processing applicant was approved. The government is particularly inspired by the resilience demonstrated by the cocoa and chocolate sector, as they remained steadfast and resolute in maintaining production and exports during the COVID-19 pandemic. The further development of the cocoa sector contributes significantly to improving our economy. And in this regard, the Ministry of Trade and Industry will continue to provide support and work with the key stakeholders to establish a resilient and sustainable cocoa sector, which will redound to increasing the contribution of non-energy exports to national development. In closing, I must commend the National Organising Committee for the National Cocoa Awards and all contributing stakeholders. Throughout its development, Trinidad and Tobago, our cocoa has maintained a mark of excellence and its legacy remains intact. And I want to encourage all cocoa farmers to participate in the National Cocoa Awards, as the opportunities afforded through increased international recognition and reputation are tremendous and can positively impact you and be the cornerstone for development of the embryonic cocoa value-added sector. Thank you.
Join me in welcoming Senator the Honourable Clarence Rambharat, Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, to deliver the feature address.
I want to thank the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago for the invitation to participate in this launch. It's the launch of, for the second time, of the National Cocoa Award for Quality. Now, I must confess that when the proposal was first made to me in 2019 to have an award program of this type, I had my doubts about it, and thankfully the Cocoa Development Company persisted at the time, and the time Winston Rudder was the chairman, and the board insisted, and I'm happy that they persisted, because it turns out that it was an amazing program. The brochure, I recall very vividly, was very professionally done and recorded a lot of information regarding our farmers and the quality of our cocoa beans and our history in cocoa in this country. There was a lot of participation which was reflected in the lead up and on the night itself at the ceremony, and the award ceremony was one high quality, very professional, and I made those remarks when I spoke that night. And as testimony for the quality of our local awards, the first one, it turns out that our outstanding farmers on that night in Trinidad and Tobago turned out to be outstanding farmers globally. And Leroy and Gita Peters, who won the award last year for the quality of their beans which come from Grand Riviere, also starred in the International Cocoa Awards. And all the participants coming from Trinidad and Tobago did very well, and we emerged as one of the top producers of beans in terms of the quality. And I remember that night spending some time with Gita and Leroy, and we talked about, their history. Gita comes from Honourable, Leroy himself is from Grand Riviere. And one of the things they highlighted to me was the fact that, notwithstanding the fact that they had just been awarded the top prize for the best quality beans in Trinidad and Tobago, they had been waiting for more than 15 years for the lease for the land in Grand Riviere. And since then we've undertaken to process it and make some progress with it, and I'm sure we're very close to doing that. But it is something that happens around the country, and it's something that I always emphasize. Our farmers are quality farmers in the main. They know what they're supposed to do, they know how they're supposed to produce, and they can compete with anything on the international market. Cocoa is a very good example. But at the heart of it, we have to keep them productive, and we have to keep them stable. And most importantly, we have to ensure that their land is secure, and they can look 30 years down the road or 60 years down the road and be assured of their tenure. Now 2020 and beyond 2020 turns out to be a very interesting year for all of us, and towards the end I will talk and make some observations about how it may have affected us in the world of cocoa. But in 2020 and beyond, I think we'll continue to focus on 4 important aspects of the cocoa industry. One is this project with UE and Mondelez. Mondelez, as you know, is a top producer in the world, a top producer in terms of value-added products and a major player. And we've entered into this arrangement with UE and Mondelez for the development and the use of technology in order to satisfy ourselves on a consistent basis that the planting material used for the cocoa industry in Trinidad and Tobago is something that is predictable. We've had quality and consistency issues in terms of the planting material, and that project is to allow us to use the technology. The project is based in St. Augustine, and to use the technology to allow us to predict the quality of the planting material. The other three aspects would be the direct support. We've talked as a government about the 500 million that the government is investing, apart from the normal investment via the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries and recurrent expenditure and the normal PSIP. An additional support is being given in the form of 500 million, and I expect some of that will be used to give direct support to the Cocoa Development Company, which has provided us with a strategic plan for the development of the sector. So that is something that we can look forward to in 2020 and beyond. We also have to increase the cultivation, so we've been targeting farmers who wish to expand cultivation or get into cultivation. We've been targeting some of the private estates that are in need of rehabilitation and encouraging the owners to do the rehabilitation and supporting them where we could do that. But in order to increase our production of beans in Trinidad and Tobago, we must increase our production, the acreage we have under cultivation. And increased cultivation is a very important part of what we need to do beyond 2020. And the final area, of course, is in continuing to support value added. We've talked a lot about it over the years. We've been doing better and better in terms of the quality of the value added products. What we need to do is to have more farmers turning their local beans into value added products, and value added products that can compete locally and internationally. But COVID-19 has brought us some changes, and we must take into consideration what COVID means to us. For example, the markets may have changed. So we have to understand what is the impact around the world, and even in Trinidad and Tobago in particular. What is the impact of COVID? Well, consumption has changed. Consumption patterns have changed. Cocoa and cocoa products, is chocolate still a priority for some people, or has COVID forced us to reprioritize, to place our money elsewhere, to spend on some other things? Without global travel and without chocolate products being offered on aircrafts, on cruise ships and food, how has that impacted the market, and how is it going to impact the market going forward? Tourism has been affected, and one of the things tourists do is that they buy cocoa, they buy chocolate products, and it will have an impact. And then we talk about the seasonality of cocoa and chocolate. Christmas is a big time. Is Christmas going to be the same this year? Is it going to be the same in 2021? And even if it's the same, would the things that the people buy for Christmas remain the same, or are they going to make changes given the changes in their consumption patterns, their spending patterns, and the money that is available to them? So COVID has had an impact. It has had an impact on all of us. The fact that we can't travel, the fact that we can't spend as we want, the fact that we can't spend where we want, and the fact that we've had to make changes in our consumption patterns are all important things, but important for everything we do, including us here in the cocoa industry. So congratulations on the second launch of the National Awards Program for Quality in Cocoa. I expect us to uncover some good talent in Trinidad and Tobago, more talent, better talent, new talent, and I expect some of our usual top performers to come back. I know that Geeta and Leroy are looking forward to defending their title. I know some of the persons who came very close last year will be looking forward to doing even better in this year's competition. And even us in the ministry, we are also looking forward to improve our quality and have more of our stations submitting beans for international judging and also for doing well. So congratulations to the Cocoa Development Company of Trinidad and Tobago. Congratulations to our farmers across the country, and thanks to all our farmers who continue to feed our country, whether we have COVID or not, and keep us strong and healthy. Thank you very much.
Here are the competition rules for the National Cocoa Awards. The competition officially opens on October 2nd, 2020. Cocoa farmers and fermenters are eligible to enter under the following categories. Category 1. Individual small and medium holdings with annual production between 100 kilograms to 1500 kilograms of dried beans from their own farm. Category 2. Individual large farm holdings or cooperatives or central fermenters with annual production of over 1500 kilograms of dried beans from their individual farms, from the cooperative, or from the central fermenter. And we have a new category, Category 3, microlot composite from a geographic cluster. This is a composite sample from farmers or groups in cocoa communities in a defined cocoa cluster producing a minimum volume of 1,000 kilograms. Each sample size submitted must be a minimum of 10 kilograms of dried beans. Each sample must be accompanied by the official National Cocoa Awards entry form. Entry forms are available at the CDC TTL office, or they can be collected from one of our cocoa development officers. Please phone CDC TTL's office at 671-1001 for details and further information. The deadline for submission of samples to the competition is December 1st, 2020. Samples will be screened by the CDC TTL and rigorously adjudicated by the tasting panels at the Cocoa Research Center and the National Panel. 3 overall samples will be announced as the winners of the National Cocoa Awards. These samples will be put towards the Cocoa of Excellence program in 2021, in addition to the best sample of Category 2 and the best sample from Category 3, provided they have a global uniqueness score greater than 8 and within 0.5 of the overall winner. Winners will be announced in February 2021. We are especially grateful to our corporate sponsors who are contributing toward the fabulous prizes for the competition. Thank you so much for being a part of our launch. We look forward to receiving your competition entries. We leave you now with a last look at the Cocoa of Excellence program.
I want to.
This is a trip around the cocoa world. There's no way that one individual would be able to taste this diversity, even traveling for a year. Each of these samples are processed exactly the same way, and the taste difference is the beans. It's the way that the woman or the man who prepared these cocos have given a personal touch, a know-how, a way of giving those beans the best that they can. And what we want to do at Cocoa of Excellence is make sure we respect that.
I have discovered that people there love cocoa. This bean is valuable. So now you have something that can make money, but you also have something that someone can say, I want to see it, I want to taste it. So it gives you a reason to continue. And I think the competition has given us a reason to want to do our best.
El cacao de ustedes está entre los 50 mejores del mundo. Me sentí muy orgullosa, ya que soy una mujer joven que ha luchado día a día para poder sacar adelante a un grupo.
Quel chocolatier ne rêverait pas d'avoir un chocolat qui vient de Hawaï, par exemple, ou d'Australie, des Philippines, d'une petite île perdue dans le Pacifique, ou simplement redécouvrir un cacao de Côte d'Ivoire qui est différent de ce qu'on peut trouver d'habitude.
Wouldn't it be a boring world if all the chocolate tastes the same? Or if we had to add flavors into a base chocolate flavor to create experiences? A good liquor is like a good piece of music.
Ouais, c'est vraiment la diversité qui fait tout, en fait, quoi.
El Cocoa of Excellence le brinda a todos los agricultores un reporte de retroalimentación con los detalles sensoriales y los detalles de la evaluación física, y esa ficha técnica de su producto les sirve precisamente para mejorar el manejo post cosecha que han hecho de acuerdo a lo que les pide el cliente.
The world of cocoa diversity is limitless. From one cocoa bean that tastes almost like if you've crushed a red fruit in it, to another one that would taste a little bit more like a tobacco or a coconut. These are very different tastes that you find in the diversity of cocoa. And the Cocoa of Excellence program values this, rewards excellence and quality, and links these producers to potential markets. The possibilities are endless. Consumers' wishes to taste different things are endless. Creativity can be endless.
The men and women who submitted these samples, they're excited about the program. To have a crack at being in the top 50, and even a crack at being in the top some 15 to 20 who will receive international cocoa awards at the Salon du Chocolat.
Let us begin the ceremonies of unveiling the International Cocoa Awards of 2019. Thank you.
I think that the theme of this evening should be pride.
Thank you to the growers for being so committed and dedicated to producing the best cocoa in the world. Cocoa has value.